and a number of the organizations. I'm so glad that the town of Haverstraw supports you and we're behind you. You do an amazing job, so I want to thank you for your service and your dedication. I wanted to come today because I was told that there are certain things that have been said, whether it's out in the community, whether it's a collaborative, that Haverstraw and the town of Haverstraw is opposed to affordable housing. That couldn't be further from the truth. Let me just go through some of the things that we've done. We're the only town in Rockland County that passed rent stabilization. I was the integral part of doing this. We had to prove that there was a 5% vacancy rate. I went out, I proved it. Try dealing with landlords when they don't want to be put under rent stabilization. At the time, we probably put about 700 apartments under rent stabilization. It was a pretty amazing feat that we did, and the only town in Rockland County to do so, and they exist still today. One of the other things we did is we allowed mobile homes to expand as a means of affordable housing. Now, whether it's rent stabilization or mobile homes, the state recognizes both of them as affordable housing. When the village of Haverstraw came to us regarding Haverstraw Place, we immediately took action. We went into, I don't know if you know Haverstraw Place, it's up on Route 9W, beautiful apartment complex. We went into a pilot agreement with Haverstraw Place with the village of Haverstraw. It worked out very well. I guess the irony of the whole thing is, and maybe let me explain what a pilot is. Pilot came out way back in the 80s, and really what the state enables us to do, whether it's a county, town, village, school district, is enter into an agreement, and pilot is an acronym for payment in lieu of taxes. And really what you're doing is you're helping developers get started. They may have a difficult time, whether it's the market, whether it's the cost of building, but it's a means of getting developers started, and you normally give a period of time. So we have done that, but we've never gone beyond a 15-year pilot for residential. So when we entered into the pilot with the Haverstraw Place, great idea. We got a number of our seniors in there. It was really wonderful. Unfortunately, after the pilot expired, and they no longer were under any commitment, they winded up selling to a non-for-profit. And that non-for-profit really doesn't pay any taxes right now, with the exception of some special district taxes. But it's a fraction of what their taxes were, even under the pilot. We entered into the pilot with the village of Haverstraw and Northern Riverview, which worked out very well. We've approved senior citizens as affordable housing. We went through affordable housing with senior citizens under what is known as shelter rent, another agreement, so that these seniors could live here. Walnut Hill, Warren Knowles, perfect example of under shelter rent. It's amazing how really we fought for Walnut Hill. The town hall was packed with people against it back in the time. I think Haverstraw has been known to have the most affordable housing out of any town in Rockland County, and that still holds true today. Ask any of the not-for-profits when they come to search for a home. You can get way more square footage of a home for less amount of price, and that's why we've had a lot of non-for-profits here in Haverstraw, and we've always welcomed them. We continue to look for affordable housing proposals for the taxpayers. Recently, we were approached by developers who want to construct housing in the village of Haverstraw. But based upon the tax numbers that have been provided to us, which we received in March of this year, these numbers really don't indicate affordable housing. It's really low-income housing based upon what they want to pay in taxes. And I'm going to give you an example. For instance, in one development, in the 15th year, they proposed to pay a total of $715 in property tax. That's after 15 years. That's school, town, county, village, and special districts. But that is up only because we were negotiating with them. They wanted to pay a total after 15 years of really $652. So we got them to come up. And then the market apartments. Now, the market apartments, after 15 years, they want them to pay a total property tax bill, on average, of $1,855. For a frame of reference, we have 3 current market rate pilots, 3 of them, market rate. So this proposal would do what they're calling as affordable and market. Now, on the 3 market that we have today, in the 15th year, they would pay a total of $5,733. That's market apartments. Again, compared to this proposal, which is $1,855. It's market. What this would do is open up the town of Haverstraw to any certiorari lawsuit. When you talk about property tax and you talk about evaluating, assessing them, and putting a value on them, you have to remain within the same, very similar numbers that you do other units. And this is just going to open us up to lawsuits. And we've explained this to them. And we understand that there are circumstances which is difficult and challenging, but you can't just put the burden upon the town and leave the town open for lawsuits. We have other market apartments that are paying well over $5,700. And that is a big difficulty. That is a big hurdle. Again, that is in the 15th year. I'm just going to drop down to some other things. We continue to look at ways for affordable housing. We believe, and I know the village board believes in this too, that if you want to empower people, if you want to give them roots in the community, you want to sink those roots deep down into the soil, the best way to do it is get them to be a homeowner. I don't care if it's in a townhouse, a condominium, a single-family house. That's why all of us should be supporting, Habitat for Humanity. The town has supported them constantly. This is the way in which you empower people. Now, the developers are also seeking federal assistance, which means that they are required to notify 9 other counties in New York State. By notifying the 9 other counties, they must notify their residents. So this lottery system that people will get an apartment by doesn't guarantee anybody in the town of Haverstraw, much less Rockland County, that they will get an affordable apartment. That's a really difficult thing for us. And it's a challenging because you're asking people in the town of Haverstraw to subsidize the school tax, the county tax, the town tax, the village tax for people that are going in there, and many of these people may not even live in the town of Haverstraw. Now, we're aware of a study that came out showing Haverstraw in the lowest for affordable housing. This study is completely wrong, and it shouldn't have been done that way. There's 2 ways to provide affordable housing. One is through federal funding, the other is through legislation. We did it through legislation. Now, the state recognizes that rent-stabilized apartments are affordable apartments. Mobile homes are affordable apartments. Shelter rent are affordable housing. That should have been included in this study. And it would have brought us last place to being first place. There are other ancillary concerns that we have. You don't live here in Haverstraw if you don't know the traffic problem that exists on 9W202. The traffic is horrendous. This village down here is saturated right now with traffic and housing. You can't take 100 pounds and put it in a 25-pound bag. Something is going to burst. You can't. We understand what the village is trying to do. We want to help. We know the village has a judgment against it for $9 million on a piece of property down on the waterfront, and we understand that this property, this proposal is the only one that came in for them. We're willing to help the village. The mayor and his village board members are all good people, all sincere people. They want the best. But we disagree on this proposal. There are towns in Rockland County that have done nothing for affordable housing. Absolutely nothing. You can't keep coming back to the town that has done the most for affordable housing and tell you got to do more. That's not right. It's absolutely wrong. And having those numbers kept out of this study was absolutely a fabrication of this study. It shouldn't have been done. And unfortunately, it appears as though it was done for a reason. And it shouldn't have been done. And I'm sorry for that. Now, we're willing to work with everybody. We can't just look at one development by itself. We have the village proposing 450 on the waterfront, another 120 for a hotel, 81 on Maple Avenue. At the end of Maple Avenue, they have to tear down because of the soil underneath it, and they're going to build more. We don't have the village of the harbors full yet. They took down the Gracioso building. Great, wonderful. I have no problem with that. They're going to build more housing there. They want to build more housing on top of the Hornet parking lot. The village of Haverstraw in 2006 had to get rid of their police department because they couldn't afford it. That was a fact. Not this board. They didn't reduce the budget one single thing. It wasn't this board. I'm not blaming them or anything like that, but they didn't reduce the budget one single bit. We took on all of that. It's extremely expensive. Police budget right now can make up 60 to 70% of our budget. 60 to 70% of our budget. An average officer right now, first grade, which they are in 4 years, $250,000. Our police, they're doing an amazing job. And don't get me wrong, I'm not anti-police. They're doing an amazing job. But 10 minutes into the shift, they're down here on the east side of 9W. There's got to be a cooperation and an understanding of what we can do and what we can't do. Now, I've got to look at the whole picture. I can't just look at some. And I can't just say, okay, we can ignore all of our services. I mean, the 450-unit apartment complex wasn't even going to put in a pool. Who builds a 450 apartment complex without a pool today? Until we objected to it, we said, this is ridiculous. They're going to put in a pool. We have to be able to agree. We have to be able to sit down. We have to be able to come up with some understanding. We're involved in this village all the time. We'll assist the village of Haverstraw in any way possible. But we have real legitimate concerns. I'm bursting at the seams at our Bowline Point Park. I mean, it's probably one of the best parks in the entire state of New York, and we're really glad to help everybody. That's what we're here for. But there has to be a two-way street, and there has to be an understanding. Lastly, I've heard some things talked about of economic development. The Harbors has come in, and you're talking about people with very, very large incomes. In many instances, there'll be 10 times the incomes that exist or that will exist in some of these apartment complexes. We've seen zero economic benefit from that. Zero. Whether it's the village or the town. You haven't. It hasn't helped the downtown at all. It's incomprehensible to believe that people that are going to be on affordable incomes, in this instance, the average median income is going to be between 30 and 60%. That means people making $30,000 to $60,000. It's incomprehensible to think that those people are going to have a major impact or an impact economically on this downtown area. I don't want to come here and argue with anybody. I don't want to come here and fight. I want what's best for the people of Haverstraw. We have so many residents working 2 to 3 jobs, and they're making more than $60,000. We have moms and dads, they're working, and they're making over $60,000, and they're having a really hard time. They're not going to be eligible for this. How do you go to people that are hard-working people and ask them to subsidize other people? And how do you take market apartments and come in and have them pay so little amount in property tax? Market is supposed to be like everything else. So with that, I don't want to go anymore, and I don't want you to think that I'm against the village. I'm not. I'm for it. Every time the village needs something, we're right there with them, and we will continue to be. I thank you for your time. This is not the time to debate or have questions. I'm available. My door is always open. You can reach out to me. Everyone knows where I am. I don't think anybody ever has had a problem getting a hold of me. I'm there. I'm ready to talk. I'm ready to still listen. But right now, we're just at a crossroads, and I don't think we're headed in the same direction. And I'm sorry for that. I really am. Here's my $10 for lunch today. And I have to go get stitches taken out of my hand. It's age, and I really do appreciate this opportunity. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.